Hello and welcome to Literature Geeks. In this video, we will be reviewing Unsinkable, the first book in the Titanic series, written by Korman.
The main character, or protagonist of the story, is Patrick, or Patty Burns. He introduces us to his friend in the beginning, that he's known for a year now, which is Daniel Sullivans. Later on in the book, we are introduced to three new characters. We have Elfie Huggins, we have Sophie Bronson, and Juliana Glams. Now, a little history about each one of these characters. So, Daniel Sullivan, he is an orphan, and he quit and ran away from a chimney sweeping job that he was doing in Belfast. And then we have Sophie. Her mom is a women's advocate and goes around places saying that women should have the right to vote. So Sophie tags along to make sure she doesn't get into too much trouble. And then Juliana, or Julie, she is the daughter of an Earl of Glamsford. And all of them, except for Daniel, manage to get onto the Titanic. So now the antagonists, the bad guys. We have Kevin Gahuli, James Gahuli, and the henchman Seamus. The Gahulis are very rich and are gangsters, so they are running the city of Belfast in criminal activity. So, moving on. We have three things that we look for in books, and that is there any bad words? Are there any types of bathroom humor?
Or if are there any romantic scenes?
Yes.
And I can say that for romantic scenes and potty humor, there are none.
There are none. But there was one bad word in chapter 24. Otherwise, nothing else throughout the whole book. So now, what did we like about the book?
First you go. What did you like about the book?
I liked how descriptive it was. Very descriptive. I could see everything in my mind when the author described it. I also liked, seeing into each character's world a bit. Because in the first chapter, we have them set in Belfast, however you pronounce it. And then in the second chapter, you're in London. And then the third one, you're in Southampton. And then the fourth one, you're in Belfast again. But it goes through, each chapter is showing like what character is talking about. And I like that. And I like how they have the dates and the times on there. It's very descriptive, and I like that.
I liked a lot of things about it, actually. See, I like the plot, like she said. I really felt like I was at the Titanic. Some of the scenes, like I was running from the Gahulis, and that was kind of my favorite scene, I think, was when Patty was running from the Gahulis. And I also liked that Juliana, she did not turn Patty in, even though she was supposed to be like snappy and stuff, because she was an Earl's daughter. And I liked Daniel's friends and stuff, and also I think, it's pretty good for the friends.
And also it was really cool to see how, a little history about Patty that we learn is that he ran away from his stepdad because his stepdad would punch him a lot and beat him up. So he couldn't really trust anyone, and then he trusted Daniel, and he thought Daniel was dead. So when he goes aboard the Titanic, unintentionally, just when he meets Elfie and he meets the others, he begins to trust them. And he says in the book that he wasn't thinking that he would trust anyone except for Daniel. So it was kind of cool to see him realize that not all people are bad and set out to get him. So that's pretty cool too.
So, what didn't you like about the book?
You go first on that one.
Okay. I think they could have made Patty a bit more smarter. Like, maybe he shouldn't have spent those. I mean, I think they had to make it where he spent the bank notes, or else it wouldn't be interesting. But at least he could have known about the drawing, which Daniel made for the Titanic. At least he could have figured it out. I mean,
That
he
is
couldn't.
true.
But I just wish he could get in his mind that. And I also kind of wish Patty wasn't discovered as a stowaway in this particular book. I think it would have been better if he was discovered in the next book.
Mm-hmm.
That probably made it a little bit better for me. And I also just didn't really like Kevin Kahuli that much. I don't think that he wasn't that scary actually. So I thought they maybe could have been a little bit better on the job on the boat. Like he didn't even look everywhere in the towels. Like a real villain would have looked under the towels where Patty was hiding. But
Yeah, or waited outside instead of moving on so fast. I mean, he had henchmen. The henchmen could have easily went ahead.
yeah.
But I don't know. It's not terrible. I mean, you don't want to read a book. I mean, personally, I don't want to read a book about a kid getting beat up 24/7. Like some adventure.
I just wish they kind of captured him.
Yeah.
So
And they did. Eventually. They did.
They didn't though.
Well, at the end, they did. And then he ran away again.
Exactly.
But, okay, what didn't I like about the book? I liked the book a lot. So anything I find that I dislike is very minor. Maybe, I mean, I know, like the rich girl, Julie, maybe her snobby behavior, because, not all rich people are snobs. I mean, a lot of them are, I'm sure. But it would have been kind of cool to see a rich girl actually stepping down.
Which she did with
trying to
Alfie.
help.
She helped hide him in the end when everyone thought she was gonna turn him in because
Alfie?
Whoopsie.
Patty. Alfie wasn't running and hiding. Nope. Patty was.
And she was mad at Patty. She didn't understand the story. She just thought Patty jumped on the ship, not that he was grabbed by a crane.
Yes. But I do wish she was just a little bit more sympathetic and not so stone cold, because the book does say she had a stone expression. She wasn't as sympathetic as Sophie was. So
Yeah.
and also it would have been cool to see maybe a little bit of the backstory of the gangsters, just a little bit, to understand. Like, we had full explanations of everything dealing with each one of the main the good characters, but not really so much the villains, which I'm sure we'll see more of later on, hopefully. But if not,
And
whatever.
I wish that they gave Seamus a last name.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say this basic summary thing?
I think we both can. So, starts out with Patty and Daniel. Daniel gets beat up. Patty gets knocked down. Can't really walk. Gets thrown into a cargo ship.
By a crane because he's hiding some hay. And then what happens is he's eavesdropping on Alfie because Alfie went on the ship even though he's underage. He's lied about his age. He said he was 16.
Well, why did he lie? It's
because
he tried to get on beforehand the right way, but it didn't really work out because they needed his mom to come on and sign for him, but she was gone.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to lie about his age then.
So, yeah, he overheard it, and then Alfie figured out he was a stowaway because he saw...
But we do have to say this, too. An important thing is both Patty and Alfie, what did they do? They were pretending to be part of the crew.
Alfie was not pretending to be part of the crew. He's part of the crew. And as I was saying, Alfie found Patty's clothes because Patty wore the what was it called again? The white
uniform.
the
The
uniform
White
of the White
Star.
Star, something. Basically, the attendant of the Titanic, and then Patty blackmailed Alfie, but then eventually became friends.
Very good friends, to the point where Alfie was just bringing Patty food, and they stumbled across a scrapbook of a famous killer that would kill people. That was 24 years ago, and they think that this Jack the Ripper character is on board the Titanic. And they're wanting to find out who it is. Well, Alfie is, so then he can bring it to the captain's attention, and that guy can be put behind bars for the rest of the trip.
But Patty thinks Alfie is delusional.
I mean, also, you have to think, like, as you see later in the book, whenever someone mentions something like the Brooklyn Bridge, Patty has no idea what that is. So he probably doesn't know too much about Jack the Ripper and all the murders that happened.
Well, it sounded like you actually did know about Jack the Ripper.
Just a little bit.
Saying. Like what he was saying. I think everyone back then knew Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. But moving on, if you're going to look at the girls, Sophie and Julie, they weren't friends in the beginning. They didn't know who they were. And when Sophie tried to become friends with Julie or just say hello to her, like on another floor of the ship by like waving at her, smiling, it said that Julie gave a curt nod and then walked away. Because Julie was being a snob and didn't really want to become friends with Sophie based on the amazing performance that her mother made.
Yes, her mother looked like, it said, I think later, or in the next book, or this book, she wore some clothes that looked like she was a banana.
That's not this book. So there's a little spoiler funny thing for the next one, probably. But yeah, eventually then the two of them became friends and talked.
And then the Gahulis tried to kill Patty.
Towards the end of the book. And then that's when Julie came in and saved Patty's life and told the crew that he went a different direction than what he actually did. So, very nice of her. So I think she will change her ways and her feelings towards Patty.
I think she
and actually
already
become
did.
a good friend. Yeah, but like later on in the series, I think she's going to become a very close friend of his. So, I don't think there's anything else we need to include in the summary. We just did like kind of like the main major points. There's plenty of other things in the story that are great to know, but you're going to have to read the book to find out.
Yeah, and I think this was very nice because when I was in school, when I was in public school, I basically read this book.
Yeah, same here. I did notice something, though, at the end of the book, I have to say. So I have a Titanic book, and it's all nonfiction. And in one of them, it said in there that the captain of the ship, Captain Smith, he received several messages from other ships in the area saying that there were icebergs and that he should be warned of them and go a different direction. Well, I was like, well, that's funny, because like if he would have listened, then the Titanic sinking probably wouldn't have happened. And I noticed at the end of this book, it says that a messenger came, or let me find it. Okay, Jack Phillips, the chief wireless operator, he came to the captain, and he says, A message from the shipping lanes ahead, sir. Ice has been reported above 42 degrees latitude. He handed over a folded slip of paper. So it shows, it's just interesting, like the historical thing is still implemented here. And the captain just stuck the note in his pocket without reading. So it's kind of cool to see that, because I never noticed that before. So it's kind of cool to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you found interesting? No? Anything else?
Nope.
No? I think that is all then. So, thank you for listening. And if you wouldn't mind, please like and follow or subscribe, and please share with friends and family and anyone else interested in this. So, thank you again, and have a nice day.